Meet I-495, a plan for an interstate that would run 10 stories above the streets of New York City, straight through Midtown Manhattan. Connecting the Lincoln Tunnel to the Queens Midtown Tunnel, the road was first proposed in 1926, but didn't have much support until 1940, when a man by the name of Robert Moses started working and trying his hardest to gain support for the highway that would destroy 13 blocks of prime Manhattan real estate. But over the coming decades, support began to shrink again for urban interstates. In 1971, plans were killed by Governor Nelson Rockefeller, along with over half a dozen other plans for interstate highways in New York City. Now, 50 years after this took place, support for urban interstates, and interstates as a whole, is still shrinking. What's next for the interstate system? Is this where public support puts a stop to anything new in the country, or will we still be building new highways 100 years from now? Today I want to try and answer that question and talk about what I think. Really quick before that though, I wanted to ask if you would please consider subscribing to the channel. We post videos like this every week, so if you're interested in the interstate system and US geography, this is a great channel for you. I'm trying for the goal of 100K by the end of the year, and I need all the help I can get if I want a goal like that. So yeah, please subscribe if you don't mind. Thank you. Next, we're going to look at Alaskan Way in Seattle. In 2019, the city destroyed the viaduct going directly along this road. It wasn't pretty by any means, and Seattle had more than enough support to get it destroyed. Now, instead of just getting rid of it and leaving drivers going through to die, Seattle instead turned it into the longest road tunnel in the contiguous US, going for 1.7 miles straight under the central business district. I'm actually quite a fan of this project and interstate tunnels as a whole. It's a good way to continue these highways into the densest urban areas without destroying blocks upon blocks of important large structures. The same thing was done in Boston, where the interstate running straight through downtown Boston was relocated underground. It seems like this is the best way to go as a whole and has a real future in America. I think cities like San Francisco, Arlington, Virginia, and Detroit will at some point in the future relocate downtown interstates underground. This isn't much of a problem for cities with a lot of room, but you'll notice the two places I talked about, Seattle and Boston, are both located in geographical locations that don't give too many options for downtown expansion. Unlike a place like Houston or Denver that has a lot of room to expand and build more dense urban buildings. So far, I've talked about interstates like they're about to be completely destroyed and replaced with high-speed rail. But that just isn't the case. Even though overall public support is diminishing for new interstate highways, that doesn't mean there isn't support. There are definitely places in the US that interstates need to be built to reduce congestion. The main one I'm thinking about is Future I-11, running from Reno all the way down to Phoenix. Specifically in between Las Vegas and Phoenix, the current US highway is just not up to the standards needed to support the amount of traffic on the route. This is the main one that I think really needs to get built, and in the long run could save some lives. Another major interstate being built right now is I-69 from Michigan to the Mexican border. It's already completed in portions around the country, but it's still being worked on in others. I don't know that it's at the need that I-11 is, but it's still an important connector for America. Now, there are 3 congressionally designated future interstates at the moment, meaning by law, as soon as they're built to interstate standards on the designed route, they will become interstates. The first of these is Interstate 3, planned for the southern U.S. It will start in Savannah, Georgia, and work its way over to Knoxville, Tennessee, going through Augusta and the Greenville metro area, then going through the mountains into Tennessee. I think the main reason why this one isn't built yet is the mountains, because building an interstate through that part of the Appalachians is darn near impossible, and would cost a ton of money. The next one is Future Interstate 7 or 9. This would replace the current State Highway 99 in California's Central Valley. Starting in Wheeler Ridge near Bakersfield, it would meet more eastern cities in the valley that weren't connected to the interstate system, like Merced, Fresno, and as previously stated, Bakersfield. It would then connect back up near Sacramento and end. This one would be quite easy to do because if I'm not mistaken, State Highway 99 is already nearly up to interstate standards, and I don't think building it would take that much time, effort, and money. In comparison to others I've talked about, this just feels very easy. Finally, there's Interstate 42, going from the Raleigh Metro to Morehead City on the coast of North Carolina. I don't know if this one's really needed, since there isn't that much going on in between Raleigh and Morehead City. Plus, Morehead City on its own only has a population of 10,000. I guess there's probably a reason for this that I'm not aware of. Personally, I believe they just wanted a connection to the coastline. Let me know in the comments if anyone knows or lives around here. Next, I wanted to go back to the cities and talk about suburban interstates, specifically the beltlines of North Carolina. These are relatively new and being built around basically every major city in the state. There are multiple in the Charlotte area, with an outer beltline and an inner beltline. The outer beltline, being in a more suburban area, was only completed in 2015. Next, there's Raleigh, which has one beltline going around the more urban area, but another second one being built farther out. The second one is not done yet and is very evidently still being built. It seems to currently be a little over halfway built, and it's super fun to look at on Google Maps because you can see where it's being constructed. The same thing is happening in Greensboro, where they're coming dangerously close to finishing their beltline, with only around 4 miles left to construct. You can also see the construction zone for this one, and it looks like it's going to be finished very soon. There's also the Grand Parkway in Houston, the third beltline around the city for whatever reason. The construction process is getting very close to being finished, and the road has showed up on Google Maps fully since last time I looked, but the satellite still hasn't updated to show it. There are a few portions still not open to the public, but this one is more of a beltline for the future, because they built it before Houston actually expanded that far out, making it a lot easier to plan and build, and making it everyone else's job to go around them instead of the other way around. So back to the original question, what is the future of interstates in the US? Well, for what I talked about in this video, I think in more suburban cities, interstates will continue to grow on the outskirts of cities. For more cross-country interstates, there will be a few more completed in the future, but overall construction will start to slow, and 50 years from now, there won't be any new interstates planned. And finally, for urban interstates. I personally think tunnels are the future. Building tunnels around urban areas seems to work. And if you have the money to do so, it makes downtowns look 10 times better. Other cities will begin to catch on to the success of Seattle and Boston and try it themselves. For the interstate system as a whole, I think the public support will only diminish as the years go by. And slowly but surely, it will become impossible to garner supports for new interstates. And expansion will end. Thanks for watching.